Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Much of the learning in all possible subjects has moved online. Even the teaching of Vedanta is now being offered online by teachers across the world. The very Veda that reveals self knowledge also reveals that the primary method is Shravanam. Shravanam is systematic and consistent listening to the Shastra from a qualified teacher for Tatparya Nishchaya, which means a clear understanding of the intended meaning. The purpose of Shravanam is to discover the fullness of who you are. Shravanam is a specialized word and is not just auditory perception or simple listening. So, how can we make the most of our online Shravanam? Here are 13 things to note. The first, clarity on the why of online Shravanam. The traditional way of approaching Vedanta is to approach a qualified teacher and seek to learn. When the teacher is not available in your city or difficult to access, only then online Shravanam is an option. It is not appropriate to take to online Shravanam out of laziness or mere convenience. Since Vedanta is not for consumption, you cannot have a consumer orientation. Second, Shravanam is not spiritual entertainment. If you are seeking excitement, relief from boredom, feeling good, etc., then it is better that you seek entertainment. If you treat classes or spiritual discourses of gurus as entertainment, you will neither learn anything nor be entertained. A lot of what the teacher can say may challenge your ideas. Entertainment does not demand a commitment. To be entertained, you can just be a casual consumer. You can dip in and dip out. But Shravanam is not like that. However, since you are committed to both self discovery and self growth, you will continue to listen. You will learn to do what needs to be done and understand what needs to be understood. Eligibility of the student. As the old saying goes, only when the student is ready, the teacher appears. The student should seek to find a teacher whom he or she can relate to, who belongs to a lineage of gurus, and who is accessible. For this, the student may have to listen to a few teachers or try out a few recommendations before zeroing in on the teacher. Even after that, it still is up to the teacher to accept him or her as a student. The student committed to self growth will definitely work on improving one's eligibility or adhikaritvam for the knowledge, and that is an ongoing process. 4. Decision about Vedanta texts to learn. The teacher is in the best position to decide which Vedanta text is appropriate for you depending on your age, stage, and maturity in life. In your arrogance, please do not start listening to texts left, right, and center without due respect for the approach of the tradition and the sequence that is appropriate for you. 5. Exclusive attention in class. Shravanam is to be done exclusively, not while having a walk, not while driving a car, nor while having a massage. You sit in front of the screen and either listen to the audio or watch and listen to the video. There is no scope for multitasking. Let's just suppose you're having a 10-minute conversation with a friend. When can you say, that you have assimilated the conversation when there is a recall of most of it. And we all know what our recall is like. So when we struggle with our accurate recall of even simple conversations, imagine how much we are likely to remember of a class that generally is for 45 minutes to an hour. So, no multitasking during Shravanam. Alert and relaxed attitude during Shravanam. You learn only when you are relaxed, not tensed. Since Shravanam on the part of the student does not involve too much analysis during the class, you are relaxed enough to go with the words of the teacher and see the truth. It is much like seeing the third day moon after the new moon from between the branches of the tree. The master will first take your attention to the tree and guide your eyes to the branches and further to the fork between the branches where the moon is visible. Because earlier you could not see it. If you are too analytical as a person and get stuck at what the botanical name of the tree is, the teacher has already moved ahead and you will not be able to go with the words. Do not try to analyze the teacher's personality. On the Vyasa Pitha, at the seat of the teaching, the teacher is just a mouthpiece of the Shastra, and the personality does not interfere with the way the teacher uses the words as a means of knowledge. 7. Do not interrupt the teacher with your questions or comments during class. This is important because the means of knowledge is being wielded by the teacher. It is very natural for many associative ideas to pop up in your head. However, it is not necessary to share that during class. Even if an urgent question comes up, wait until the class is over and then raise the question if it still persists. In all likelihood, the question would have already been covered in class. 8. Making notes. Traditionally, at least for a few years, we do not make notes so that our attention is there 100%. But given our attention spans and retentive capacities, I suggest that you can note down a few points in a hurried manner. Do remember that you are not participating in a handwriting competition. For those who find that difficult, I recommend that they make notes in the second round of listening to the same class. You can then add to your notes after the class is over and make some additional points when you are going over the text again. Your notes are important pegs for your understanding when you are reflecting on them. 9. Live online class. Try and join a live class. Although the teaching is universal, it is very personal. When the teacher sees you and teaches, there is much more than the transfer of knowledge. You hear what you need to hear as there is a flow of grace. The unfolding is blessed by the many rishis of the tradition. If you have a good connection with the teacher or time coordination is just not possible, then recorded classes are fine. Seek to meet your teacher occasionally in person. 10. Questions and clarifications. The Bhagavad Gita and many of the Upanishads are in the form of dialogues of the student with the master. The dialogue is a flow of meaning where questions are asked to know more or to clarify one's understanding. Questions emerge only when you think more about the subject matter. Since Vedanta is not belief oriented but understanding oriented, asking questions is encouraged so that the master may clarify further. The commitment of the teacher is for your understanding to be free from vagueness, error, and doubt. So, ask and clarify. 11. See your life in the light of what you have heard. When you listen to the Shastra, you do not listen with the hat of your nationality, or the hat of your gender, or the hat of your political views. You learn to suspend your prejudices and pet ideas for the time being and are just a simple, conscious person. Instead of being selective about what applies and what does not in your life, you flip the equation. You find the guts to look at your life in the light of Vedanta. 12. After class and preparation for next class. If the teacher is unfolding a text, it is appropriate to go over the key points covered in the class. Think about your life in the light of it. If questions emerge from your reflections, do make a note and clarify when the next opportunity arises. 13. Accountability. As a student, you are accountable for the learning you have received. Seek to share what you have understood with the teacher because there is always scope for correction. Now that you have made the most of your online Shravanam, relax. It has taken much punya for you to come to this. You may feel lost, but you must know that there are many devatas and rishis that bless you as we speak. When you live up to the tradition, you live the tradition, the glorious parampara. The teaching tradition blesses you all the way if you are open to doing what it takes.
Om Tat Sat.